Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how I do my cat eyes. Cat eyes are something I'm not perfect at and I struggle with all the time. I love them and I love how they look, but honestly it's taken me a long time to figure out how to do them well, and I'll tell you some reasons why. The first reason why is because your eyes are not exactly the same. I know a lot of people are like, what are you talking about? Your eyes are very similar in shape and placement and everything else, but they're not exactly the same. You don't have an exactly perfect symmetrical face. So the way you do your cat eye on one eye might have to be different than the other, and I've realized that, and I've kind of adjusted to that throughout my practice in doing my cat eyes. Another thing is that it depends on what medium you use, and so it depends on whether you use a liquid, a pen, a gel, a kohl pencil. They're all different in how they're going to work, so it's just important to remember that that might affect how you do it. So I'm just showing you how I've learned to do my cat eye and what I like to do. I'm using my e.l.f. Waterproof eyeliner pen today in black, and I just like this a lot. It does run out quickly, unfortunately, but it's only $1, so honestly I'll go buy it for $1 every, I don't know, few weeks when it runs out. Like, I don't care, because it works great and I love it. Another thing to know is that this is just like my cheating way. I can't do perfect cat eyes. I don't do them perfect every day. Some days I get really frustrated and I have to wipe my whole face off and just start all over, because they're just kind of hard to grasp at first, especially if it's your first time doing them or you're just learning. So just be patient. Practice makes perfect. But this is just how I've learned to do a cat eye. This is my favorite way of doing it, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, let's get to it.
So I just wanted to show you guys the tip on this pen. It's a really nice, fine, pointed tip, and I like it. So right here I'm showing you how I line it up. You kind of want to follow your lower lash line at a diagonal. They say that you would like to angle it towards the tail of your eyebrow, but for me that makes it a little too harsh. So I just prefer this angle. I lay my pen down and I kind of just press and drag into the corner of my eye. I do both eyes first and check to make sure the lines aren't too crazy off and they're somewhat symmetrical in angle. That way I can fix any little deformities afterward. So the next thing I'm doing here is I'm starting to thicken in the cat eye. And what people don't really understand about a cat eye is that you don't draw a curve, you actually draw a line from the outer corner to the inner corner, and when your eye opens it naturally forms a curve. So I do this on both sides. I kind of start that line. To determine the thickness of your cat eye, it depends on how far out on the tail you go. I usually go about 3/4 of the way out. If you went closer to the eye, it would form a thinner tail and a thinner cat eye. If you went out towards the end of the tail, it would be a thicker, more extreme cat eye. So I just continue to go along, and on each eye, fill it in gradually. I make sure I get really close to that lash line, and I take my time. It's all about taking your time. It's way easier to go slow with this than to try and rush and mess it all up. So here you can see me just trying to perfect that straight line. You can almost see that straight edge, and it's going to taper from thick on the outer corner to thinner onto the inner corner. I'm just speeding some things up now so you can kind of get the general idea. It doesn't need to be as slow as I do it. Another key when you're doing a cat eye, it's helpful if you look downwards a little bit. It kind of helps you see that angle and that shape. Sometimes it's hard. You could kind of see my lid like moving and you get a little bit of patchiness. If you really want a straight, crisp edge, it's nice to pull your lid taut a little bit. That will help give you a crisp line. So I always make sure to just take it one step at a time and always check both my eyes as I go to ensure that they're even and looking good. They're not always even in the angle, but as long as when I open them, they're fairly similar, I can go through and fix them up in this next step. So I had to pause because I just got really upset. For those of you that don't know, I sit on the floor when I film because I don't have a desk in my guest room right now, and I tend to hunch forward. I have to cut it out a lot of the time of my footage, and that's what I did today. I like hunched forward, and you couldn't see any of this next step. So I am inserting footage from a video that I'm going to be posting shortly on my channel so that you can see what I do during this next step of my cat eye. I promise it's the same. I do the same exact thing. It's just different footage. My eyeshadow is different because I suck and I hunch forward because I have horrible posture. So that's what you'll see. I promise it's always the same. And I'm just really frustrated about it. So that's that. Okay. So for this next step, I take a makeup wipe and wrap it over my index finger. And I use the nail of my index finger to create the eraser, essentially, that I use to even out the cat eye. If I feel like the angles aren't perfectly even, this is how I even them out. This just helps also create a nice, precise, clean edge underneath the cat eye. And this is just my favorite way to even out and clean up my cat eye. So that little tail that gets created from the excess, I just dab away with the makeup wipe, and it's really that simple. If you feel like you've taken away a little too much, you can go back in with the pen and add in and use the makeup wipe to touch up again.
Okay guys, I hope that you enjoyed my little cat eye tutorial. Like I said, I don't place it and it looks perfect. I don't draw it on and it's flawless. There's not many people I know that do that. This is just a good way to get started and learn how to place your cat eye. A good way to practice is before you go to bed at night, before you wash your face and get ready to take all your makeup off, just go in front of the mirror and practice. It's just practice for 10 minutes. You kind of learn how to do it, and then practice makes perfect. I would not suggest trying to do a cat eye before you're going to go out on a date, or before you're going to go do something for the day and you want your face to look flawless. If you've never done a cat eye before, it might be confusing. So I hope that it was helpful. If you have any comments or suggestions or questions, please leave them down below. As always, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, NinaNeedsMakeup, all one word. And that's all for now. Bye.